Evening, everyone. Today, for autism advocacy, I got my mom right here next to me, Sheila Renee Marsh. Wave to the camera. And we are going to do a one on one interview. She's going to ask me a few questions about my childhood. So, what is your first question?
My first question would be, when's the first time that you knew you were autistic? That you felt you were different from other kids?
I'd say about kindergarten
Okay, what made that different?
because I was going to these special ed resource classes, and there was a lot of stuff the teachers were letting me do as far as pacing, as you mentioned earlier, that they didn't let do, and having some of my schoolwork modified for me, and different therapies I had to have that other kids didn't need.
And Dustin paced in the back of the room up to fifth grade. They let him do it. And he'd just find his spot and he would pace back and forth, back and forth. But I remember this one time when you lost your tooth.
Yeah.
You need to tell him that. That's a funny story.
Yeah. And then one time when I lost my tooth, it scared me to death. My anxiety was high. And when I lost my first tooth, I put a rag in my mouth, and I never wanted to take it out for 2 whole days almost.
We tried to. I mean, it was for one day, but it felt like 2 days. But you wanted to go to school, and I didn't know how to get the rag out.
And the teacher couldn't get it out either. So when I went to PE class, the PE teachers made me take it out. So they told me, because we were doing the racing games on the scooters, and I wanted to do it, and they told me I couldn't play if I didn't take it out. So I did it. And what did you do after that?
Well, I went up and thanked them for getting, after I found out they got the rag out, I went up and thanked them, took them a plant, and I don't know, some knick-knack candy stuff or something, just thanked them because I really didn't know what to do or how to go about doing it, because he was adamant about keeping that rag in there. I think he was scared that the blood was just going to come out of his mouth. But
yeah,
there were some stories like that were funny. But Dustin was 4 years old when we found out he was autistic. He was at Rabbit Hill, and the teacher there had asked me to come in and talk to her and wanted to tell me about Dustin. And she thought he was autistic. At first, my whole thing was, no, he's not my kid. I was in complete denial. And then I went home and talked to my mom about it and talked to Dustin's dad, Tim. And we read this book that she gave us. And we said, man, there's a lot of similarities to it. So I decided I'd take him to UT. I called around and got an appointment into UT, which that program's no longer there, and had him tested. And they came up with what?
And they came up with
PDD,
pervasive development disorder, which is one of the highest functions on the spectrum. So people with PDD, they don't meet all the symptoms that are on the autism spectrum, but we still have a little bit of repetitiveness.
Yeah.
And sometimes
you used to ask the same question over and over and over.
Yeah.
We'd like, Dustin's enough. We heard you the first time. I mean, we'd let you do it, but not over and over and over. But yeah.
Yeah.
And you paced till, shoot, you almost got married. He'd find his spot wherever he went, whoever's house we were at, no matter where we were, whether it was outdoors or what, he would run and hit the door or the wall, and then run whatever his path was. He'd run and hit that side. And just his hand would just be a flapping when he'd do it. And it just helped with his anxiety too. And I remember being really upset when he wouldn't play with in the backyard. I'd look out the window and Dustin wouldn't be playing with his cousins. And it just broke my heart. But come to find out, Dustin, he didn't want to play with them. He wanted to be alone. And that was one of the things we didn't know about. But he did that rock wall. You'd always climb on that rock wall and walk on it. And a lot of fun stuff. Early on when Dustin, before his sister was born, when we kind of got an idea something was different, but not quite sure what it was, when me and Dustin would go to the mall almost every day. I'm surprised he don't still go there every day. And so he would come in and we'd always change into our pajamas. One day I didn't, and Dustin went crazy. He started pulling at my shirt, wanting me to take it off, and I couldn't figure it out. And finally, about probably 15 minutes later, I was like, oh, he wants me to put my pajamas on. And then he was fine. And then stuff like that. There's lots of stories, though, that Dustin and I can tell.
Yep. That's right.
And we'll be back for some more.
And that's right. And thank you all for watching this video. And please like and subscribe and share my videos.
We got more stories.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We have some more stories to tell you later on, but this is my early childhood, just so you all know.